and then we'll start the introduction. Just a moment. Yeah, it's live in our Facebook page. Can you see the private chat here?
I have shared this in your DM also, Arif and Thomas.
All right.
That's not
So
fine.
we're all right. All good. We're starting now in 3, 2, 1. দেশ এবং দেশের বাইরে থেকে যারা আমাদের সাথে যুক্ত হয়েছেন, আসসালামু আলাইকুম এভরিওয়ান এন্ড ওয়েলকাম টু দ্য 6th এপিসোড অফ দ্য শেড এন্ড। আজকের স্পেশাল শোতে আমরা আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি আমাদের দেশের এবং বিদেশের সম্মানীয় অনেক চেলসি ফ্যানকে। এই জন্য আমাদের আজকে পুরো শোটি আমরা কন্ডাক্ট করছি সম্পূর্ণ ইংরেজি ভাষায়। আপনারা অবশ্যই যে কোনো রকমের দোষ ত্রুটি ক্ষমা সুন্দর দৃষ্টিতে থাকবেন। সো here it is, the final game week of the longest Premier League season. We have a massive game at home against Wolves in a couple of hours. The bridge is ready. We're ready. Let's begin the show. I'm your host, Shafat Jamil, and I'm with our club secretary, Adnan Zahid, and founding administrator, Mr. Nafiz Zaman. And we have got 4 special overseas fans tonight in our lineup. So I'm introducing Mr. Thomas Williams, Vice President of Austin Blues. And then we've got Arif Chaudhuri, former VP of Austin Blues. And then we've got Ritesh Rao, the administrator of Chelsea India Supporters Club. And lastly, from the other side of the coin, Ms. Rahman. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
Thank you. So I'll hand over Adnan Bhai to proceed with the initial discussion, please.
Thank you so much, Arup, and thank you everyone who is watching this show. And first of all, we'd like to welcome a big thanks to Thomas, Arif, and Miz, and absolutely Ritesh as well. Welcome to the show. And first of all, we are doing this show for like every week since the pandemic starts. So it's our 6th episode, I think, onwards, and this is our biggest platform yet, and we are connecting with overseas Chelsea fans and club secretaries. Thank you so much, guys, for joining here. A big match tonight and a very tense moment for everybody, actually, I guess. So the tension is up and down. So I like to get back to one of each and every one by one. So I first go to Thomas because how is the impact of Chelsea's this season and impact of Christian Pulisic, especially to the United States fans?
I mean, bias aside, of course, it's been phenomenal. He's definitely been our best player since Project Restart by far. He's a game changer when he comes on the field. Showed it last match against Liverpool. You put him on, he makes things happen. You know, he has the world-class ability to change the game now, and it's been very exciting. Good season, up and downs. That's what you want to see.
Yeah. Great. How is it, Arif? I mean, how is it things going with you and Chelsea's in this pandemic, the Project Restart? And a same question I will ask you, what about Christian Pulisic and the USA fans in Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, the first game we started, that was against Burnley, right? That was the game we started. Yeah. And funny thing, we actually had a NBC show in town. Because, you know, they do a fan fest, NBC. So, you know, they were in town for that, and it was a huge crowd. And that was his first game that he started. And, you know, we had thousands of Chelsea fans at the fest, and he scored a hat trick. And, you know, it just blew up from there. And I think, you know, so far he's done very well. 10 goals, 10 assists, which is almost as good as Eden Hazard's first season at Chelsea. So if he can do that in this first season, I'm sure you know, there's many more to come. And during the pandemic, it's obviously been really hard. We in our town, because you know, we have a designated place that we go to watch every single game. And all the bars and restaurants were closed for about a couple months. But you know, they're open back up, and we're still showing up. It's not, you know, like it used to be before. You know, we had big crowds. You know, there's some people showing up, some people not. Unfortunately, I have missed a couple games because my wife doesn't let me go. But I think so far it's been good.
Happy wife, happy life.
Right.
Fantastic.
So, what about Miss? I think Australia is a bit much more relaxed now in pandemics. I think you can go and watch the pub, or maybe the Chelsea fans possible now.
Yeah, it depends. A few of the states, like for example, Melbourne is back into severe lockdown again because they're now facing the second wave. So things are not that great over there. In New South Wales, where I am, in Sydney, it isn't that bad, but people are still cautious. You can go to the pub and watch the match and whatnot, but I think people are still a bit worried that they don't want to take the risk. So people are still inside. But look, yeah, I'm hoping soon, some of these issues go away and we can all get back and watch as a fan together. That's what we're truly hoping for.
Fantastic. So, how's life going, Mr. Ritusharo?
Life is pretty much the same when it started during the pandemic. I mean, India is actually going in the wrong ways when it comes to the numbers. On daily basis, we are coming close to what US is currently having. So, pandemic is, I don't know, it's going to take a long time for us to recover. Beautiful thing, football started again. Chelsea is doing pretty well, especially after all the ups and downs that we had during the mid of the season. It was good to see them bounce back. And Christian Pulisic, I mean, I have no words for him. Like, I do not want to compare him to Eden Hazard because their playing style is different. But the impact on the game because of his pace and because of his mentality, it's something beautiful to watch, especially during these times. So I think all in all, we're going to do good, especially with everything that is coming ahead for us.
Absolutely.
So I will go to the one by one again. What's the expectations for tonight's match? A huge match. Do you think like Chelsea can cope the pressure and get at least 1 point, Thomas?
Yeah, I kind of hate to leave it to these situations where last game, get a result or you're out, or rely on other people's help, and it's never a fun situation to leave it down to the wire. But I think we had a really good performance in the reverse fixture earlier in the season. Tammy had a hat trick then. Don't think we're going to be having him starting tonight. I think we'll have a more controlled, composed, and experienced team on the field. And I think we'll see the guys get to work and get the result we need to see.
I see. And do you think is Giroud going to start tonight? I mean, what will be the formation you prefer mostly today?
I saw a crazy stat that we've switched to a back three a couple times this season, and when we've run it back-to-back games, we lose the second game every single time. But I don't think we're going to do it again. I think we'll have our normal 4-3-3, hopefully. Maybe we'll invert Giroud or have him just do his excellent hold-up play. I mean, you win the World Cup not scoring a goal. You've got to have some good passing and hold-up play, and I think that's what we're going to see a lot of, and hopefully get Pulisic on early, if not starting, and take advantage of his pace and ability to take on defenders head on.
Yeah. I think in the right side, it is mostly the Wolves attacks going to come because Adama Traore is in the right side of the Wolves. And for us, it's maybe Alonso and Christian Pulisic in the midfield side. So it will be quite a battle in the left side and right side for the Wolves. What do you think?
Got to be fast and strong to try to do anything against him, right? Man's unreal.
And what about defensive setup? I mean, do you think we'll put Christiansen today or Rudiger or Zuma? I guess.
I don't know. It seems like we've had a little bit of favoring with Rudiger Zuma when possible lately, but I think that's our weakest spot in the team, regardless of how everyone feels about Kepa lately. Kind of slapstick it together and hope it works one more time. What else can you do?
Yeah. It's just sad because it's been so inconsistent. You have Zuma, he played few very good games and then nothing. And Rudiger was saying I think he's struggling because the partnership with Christensen and Zuma has been changing every other week. And then you have Cesar playing right, Cesar playing left.
Right.
There's a change there as well.
So we just gotta figure it out. I mean, defense has definitely been our issue this year. I mean, you can blame
Right.
a lot of it on Kepa as well. But when you don't have a fixed back line, because we really don't have our starting center backs. We don't.
Right.
So that's an issue. So it'll be. I think Zuma and Rudiger starting today. We'll see.
Okay. I think Zuma and Rudiger. It will be quite a battle with I think Raul. With the striker, right?
Yeah.
And they play. It's quite physical, I guess. And also, I just want to make a point here because Kepa conceded a lot of goal outside from the box, and Wolves have a tendency, like player like Moutinho and Ruben Neves, they have a tendency to score from the distance. So I think it will be a high press game, and maybe Mason Mount and Ross Barkley will chase them, I think, in the midfield. What's your take, Ritesh, on this?
I agree with what Thomas had earlier said. Regardless of what people feel about Kepa, the defense is the biggest concern for us because if you ask me, even before the keeper comes into the play, the player should not be allowed to take a shot. So it's not going to happen that every time they can block that particular shot, but the number of times that the shots taken can be decreased, and that will increase our chances. So Ross Barkley may not start today, but I'm quite sure that he may come in the second half in a change. Most probably, I believe, is Jorginho and Kovacevic starting lineup today. And I was hoping that we have 4-3-3, but for some reason I have a strange feeling that we're still going to go with 3 backs. I don't know. Let's see.
I see. Okay. Right. Miss, what about you think? Do you think Giroud is starting for you or Tammy?
100% Giroud. 100% Giroud. There's no doubt about it one bit. This guy, since the restart, before the restart as well, Giroud has been so fantastic. I think what I like about Giroud is he brings the team together. He brings all these other different midfielders, wingers, everyone into the game, which, I don't want to be disrespectful to Tammy. Tammy's been fantastic. He's scored 15 goals for us this season. But what Tammy sometimes lacks is he lacks the ability to bring everyone into the game, which Giroud does. I think, without a doubt, in this most important game, we need Giroud to start. Just to touch on a few of the other points that the guys were talking about in terms of formation, I think we've got to match Wolves. If we don't match Wolves 3-4-3 and we go 4-3-3, I think we're going to get overloaded in the back with the wing backs that they play with. We've already seen that against Sheffield United when Sheffield United played with the 3-5-2 and we played with the 4-3-3. They overloaded us, and then their physicality absolutely destroyed us in the back. So I think we need to get a few things right here. We have to get the formation right. We have to get the personnel right. And then we have a chance, I suppose. So I'm confident. I'm confident we're going to get this done. The players know that this is an important match. It's the final match of the season. You get yourself a draw or a win and Champions League is confirmed. So I'm very confident.
Great. I got back to Arif on this matter. Strategy-wise, Frank Lampard was a bit flexible this season. He used 3-4-3, 4-3-3. Sometime when we get mostly in attack position, we even I think against Sheffield we played 2 in the center. When we are 2-0 down, I think he brought Giroud and Tammy playing together for a small period of time. So, in a game like this, do you think he's going to exercise any kind of experiment, or do you think he's best stick to his basics? Like 4-3-3, go, play from the front, attack from the wing, attack and goal, like this way?
Sorry, I think we lost each other.
Sorry, Arif. Can you hear me, Arif?
Yeah, I'm good.
I was saying that strategy-wise and formation-wise, what will be you take today? What will be Frank Lampard going to do today? Do you think it's still going to experiment with 3-4-3 or with 4-3-3 will be the basic formation to go tonight?
I'm kind of with Miz on this one because I don't think we should go, 3 in the back. I think we should go with 4-3-3 because of how Wolves play. You know, their wingbacks, they got a couple fast wingbacks. Their strikers are fast, and I think we should just go with 4-3-3. And you know, he's done that before. Personally, I think. I mean, obviously, we should start Drew because Kenny kind of fell off, and I better go back to Miz as well because Drew's got the experience. You know, he's done that before. You know, games like these, he's the perfect man to start. Yeah, I think we should go with 4-3-3, and I'll go with Kovacic, Jorginho, and maybe even Barkley, and then Mount, William,
Lampard is saying that Kante might play today. I mean, do you think he's going to start or coming from the bench?
I mean, I'm always all about Kante. If he can start Kante, then for sure, absolutely. But I think Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho should start today. Yeah.
It's great.
In my opinion, Kante is a must start. If Kante is fit, then Kante should
in this
start
game.
because in this game, if Kante is fit because Wolves midfield is there's too much long shot like Moutinho and Ruben Neves. To negate them to press them hard, we need Kante and Kovacic's energy so that they don't move forward much so then we can hit them on counter or the wing because they will play 3-5-2. So like there will be lots of places for in the wings for Pulisic or Willian, whoever plays to exploit. So I think for whichever formation he has to play.
I think the other thing is Wolves like to counter. We've seen them counter us many times. In fact, every team likes to counter us. They know that we like to have the position, so they want to hold back. And if we play with the double pivot of Kovacic and Jorginho, as much as I love Kovacic, I think he's a fantastic player. But with Jorginho, in a counter-attack, especially against the likes of some of these Wolves players, it's going to be dangerous. So Kante becomes even more important here. Even a 60% Kante fit, I would have him on. 60% playing, please. 50% play. Because this is a match. If Wolves see Jorginho in the starting lineup, they are going to be licking their fingers that, we're going to get this guy today. We're going to get him big. So we have to have Kante starting somehow.
Yeah. Now, do you guys think, that's my personal view, I feel like, when Jorginho is playing, I'm a huge fan of Jorginho. But I feel like lately, when he's playing, he kind of slows the game down. Do you feel the same way?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He slows it down, and he's a liability in the the counterattack, like me said. I mean, you see him; he's either out of position, trailing, attackers running, or not following, not marking, and it just leaves us so exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean the fifth goal versus the Liverpool.
I think the issue with
please, Miss, continue.
Yeah, go on, Nathan. Yeah, I was going to say just on what Arif was saying that the issue with Jorginho is that he's a very system player. So when he was playing under Sarri was playing everything through Jorginho. So Jorginho was touching on every play. He was the one who was orchestrating everything. Whereas in Frank Lampard's system, Frank doesn't want sideways passing and verticality. He wants more direct. He wants quick. So what happens in that scenario is that Jorginho gets caught out. He's not athletic enough. He's not quick enough to play like that. So you're right. He does slow things down, but that's how he is. So no disrespect to the player. I think the player is a fantastic player. It's just he's an unfortunate, I suppose, casualty of our system. So it just doesn't fit.
Very true. Yeah. But then again, having him on the field as well, he's so talented, and he sees passes that I don't think we have anybody in the team who sees those passes. Having him in the team, it also makes me feel a little better because I feel like it's just one pass. That's another thing too. But it's a very tricky situation with Jorginho, and I'm very good. I'm a big fan of him, but I feel like in a game like this, I'll probably start Barkley over Jorginho, just because he's faster and stronger. He's not as good as Jorginho, but we have told them contact. You need somebody making those direct passes. And I think when it comes to making direct passes, Barkley,
Right.
he likes to play direct. Let's just put it that way.
Yes. Yes. I mean in the reverse fixture, like in the when the Tammy scored a hat trick, right? I mean,
Yeah.
in that match,
Yeah.
Jorginho had some sublime pass to Tammy. I mean,
Yeah,
versus
that
Wolves.
long ball.
So, yeah.
That was
When
I
he's on,
watched
he's
that
on.
pass- I watched
Yeah.
that pass probably 500 times.
Fine. I mean,
Yeah.
We sent it to our group chat multiple times. And just, I don't know why I can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
so
But our game is so different now from back then. It's so much
Yeah.
more different now.
yeah. I mean, situation also demand us to be cautious. No, I mean, we cannot be like going fancy and like 2-0 down or 1-0 down in half time, and all the pressures back to us. I mean, now we have to chase the game. I mean, in this kind of match, you don't want to. The last thing you don't want is to chase the game. I mean, you are down and you're chasing the game, right? So
Tired of
it's
that.
like, yeah. So I was just making a point. I mean, in the fifth goal versus the Liverpool. I mean, the Liverpool counter-attack. We seen that like Jorginho was the player who failed to mark Robertson. I mean, he could have taken a yellow card for the team, but he didn't be able to reach the player. I mean, Robertson, and we caught out. So, Ritesh, do you think Jorginho is a bit of, I mean, no disrespect, he's a bit of liability for when it comes to defend from the midfield?
See, as a defensive player, yes, because if I'm not wrong, Mitch was the one who rightly pointed out he is a fantastic player, but unfortunately, he's not right for the system that we currently have, especially under Frank Lampard. So if you look at the Sarri season, someone correctly mentioned every ball was getting passed to Jorginho. He was the starting point
Right.
of every attack that we had. So right now, it's not the case. We have players like Mason Mount, we have Pulisic, we have Willian who have more direct approach, who need the ball coming directly to them. So defensively, if you talk about Jorginho, he is a lot weaker as compared to the other players that we have. Especially, I mean, you can't even compare him to Kante. But even for Billy Gilmore, unfortunately, he's injured right now. Even for Billy Gilmore, I would have preferred Billy Gilmore prior to Jorginho. I love Jorginho, by the way, but as defensively, he's not that great.
I see. And regarding, I mean, we will just take few questions from the fan, because a lot of fan sending questions and all, and we'll get back to the question from and get the answer from you. Arup, can we take some questions now?
All right, so I've got a question from Yasir Iqbal Farooqi. So that's, shall we go with 3 at the back tonight? I think we should we should with Adama and Doherty on one side and Orense on another, with Jimenez so good in the air. I think we should match their formation tonight. And another one from Sivat Hasnat, he's predicting 11 tonight, starting with Kepa, SP, Rudiger, Tomori, Alonso, William, Barkley, Pulisic, Mount, Giroud, and Loftus. I guess Tomori is out, right? Out for tonight.
Right, yes. So I get to Miz on the first question. I mean, do you see we are matching same formations with the Wolves, or we'll take a different plan?
I think we've got to match it, guys. The other factor why I feel we should match is now we've played against Man United 3-4-3. We've played against Liverpool 3-4-3. Probably shouldn't have played that, but we played it. So that's 2 games in a row we played 3-4-3. So the players are now sort of in this rhythm. And we know Wolves play 3-4-3, so you should play 3-4-3. And not to forget, the game after Wolves is Arsenal. They play 3-4-3. So I think we shouldn't this rhythm, get the players to understand this style, and finish off the season. So, you know, formation-wise, that's how Wolves play, and we have to match it. We have to.
Right.
Definitely,
Thomas,
definitely.
I go to the second questions from Thomas and Arif, and then I'll go to the Ritesh. Do you see Frank Lampard taking a gamble, making Cavallero as number 1 tonight and Kepa on the bench? Do you think this is going to happen?
If he wants them to move him off in a week, maybe. I think it's really hard to have those wages on the bench in the do or die moment, right? I mean, even if you're not sure of him, you got to put your eggs in that basket, I guess, at the moment. if we were going to FA Cup next match and we're going to penalties, get him out, kick Willie in. But no. This match, I think we have to stick with Kepa.
Yeah, I'm with Thomas on that one too, because as the most expensive goalkeeper in the history of the game, I think he's got a lot to prove today, and today is the game for him.
Yeah, today's the day for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely
a
today's the day. Yeah.
do and die for his career. His Chelsea career. Maybe he can play a very good game. He can save 2-3 games, and it might turn around. Lampard might think otherwise, because if he had a bad game or decent game, that might be harmful for his career also, Chelsea career and overall career.
But Nafis bro, the rumors are suggesting that Lampard already on the hunt of a new goalkeeper, right? So, how do you think about this? Like, if I ask Thomas again, like, are we really going after a experienced keeper or a prominent keeper after keeper, like for the next season?
I mean, if we're going to let him take over and start this new Frank Lampard Chelsea dynasty that we all love to see, you want to let him have some authority for signings, of course. But at the same time, we're well prepared, more so than almost any other team in Europe, because of the pandemic situation financially.
Right.
So I don't think we can offload him at the price that we would want, and that's just how we operate. We're not going to sell him if we can't get our price point.
Right.
We might try the Tebow route and the 2-year loan with an option to buy, which would then allow us to bring someone in this season, but it still seems like a stretch when we're trying to bring in some potential other attackers, midfielders, and definitely need to bring in at least a couple of defenders, if not 3 or 4. So it seems really hard to move him on in this current market.
Yep.
Right. Ritesh, I go back to the same question. Do you think, there are a lot of comments and things on social media bashing on Kepa in the last match performance versus Liverpool. I mean, yes, he made some questionable decision while collecting the ball or saving it. But in such crunch game, when Wolves are mostly a physical team, they will definitely go to the aerial and all this high balls. So in this kind of situation, sometimes goalkeeper need to come from the line and collect the balls and make some signals, right? Which we've seen from Cortez and then previously, of course, from Peter Cech as well. But is this a common lack of communication do you see between the defense and the goalkeeper? I mean, yes, he is speaking in Spanish and his defenders are German and French. Is there any connection? I mean, like language connection? I don't think so. But what is the difference? I mean, why is this happening?
I don't think it's the language barrier that may be the problem when it comes to communicating for a goalkeeper with his defenders. Again, no disrespect to any players, but I feel it's more of the defensive errors that we have, not Kepa's error. See, Kepa is relatively young to other goalkeepers in the league, and it's not that he's always played bad. He had his moments, he had his good games as well. Sometimes he has bad games. What we need to majorly focus is, we need to support the play. We have to think about supporting the player at a time when he's not at his best. Only because he's playing fantastic, and if we support them, that's wrong. We also have to support him during such hard times so that he gains that amount of confidence. So I believe it's not the language barrier or the communication gap, it's the lack of confidence that Kepa is not having right now. Now, you can call it the lack of confidence with his defensive team, or maybe he knows that he has too many eyes on him right now. Again, he's under scrutiny that everybody is looking at him, that even if I make a small mistake, I'm going to be criticized like this. So again, that becomes a factor for a player like Kepa because of his price tag, which people have already raised a lot of questions about him. So it's not a lack of communication, but a lack of confidence. And I believe as long as the player is supported by his fellow colleagues, by the manager, and especially by the fans, the player can overcome all the difficulties and challenges that he is facing right now.
So
I don't know.
regard,
I have some. Sorry. I was just gonna say that I have a faith in Kepa that he can overcome this situation provided he's given the right amount of support from every aspect.
So in that regard, I'd like to add, like many Premier League followers are comparing the situation like David De Gea was facing in his first 2 seasons, right? So this was kind of like turnaround for him. So can we expect something for Kepa in this situation? So Miz can add something here.
I think we can hope for that.
guys,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
look,
anyone.
I think I've been a massive, someone who's backed Kepa. I enjoyed his performances last season. He was so crucial for us in some of the games, most notably in Europa Cup semi-final and some of the other matches as well. He's made some really, really key saves. But one thing I don't know if you guys would have noticed last season as well, that long shots kept on getting him. He's not the greatest shot stopper.
Right.
It might be because his positioning and the way he has his hands, he's always flapping his hands, so he doesn't seem to get the right connection.
Right.
This season, what's happened is, I think most of the fans, we've just believed that he's going to get better and better. But what has happened, I believe, is other teams have looked at him. Other teams have looked at him and they have completely understood where his weakness is. We are seeing more long shots. Every stat you pull out of Kepa, in terms of goalkeeping stats, he is the worst keeper in Europe. Like, it's unimaginable. He's the worst keeper in the Premier League in terms of save percentages ever. He's apparently cost 8% of Chelsea's all-time goals. All-time goals in the Premier League. 8% has been conceded by Kepa. If you look at the last game against Liverpool, the first 3 goals, he does not move. He's frozen.
This is a major problem of him.
That tells me a few things. Yeah, that tells me a few things. First of all, he's either not seeing it correctly. Secondly, he's not reacting. He's not reacting quick enough. And thirdly, it's just confidence. And then you have the defenders shouting at him. They're saying, Kepa, Kepa, Kepa. When the ball's coming in from the cross, they're shouting at him. I think this keeper's done, though.
But doesn't that go back to...
I cannot see...
Sorry, Miz, but doesn't that go back to our defenders too? I mean, if we're conceding too many goals from long shots, then we should be stopping those too, right? Our defenders should be defending.
100%. I'm not going to take.
Yeah, go on.
I'm not going to take anything away from our defenders. Our defenders, we need upgrade there as well. This is no way by any means that if we remove Kepa, we're going to be all sorted. No, we've got defensive issues, and Frank has got defensive issues. He needs to understand the defensive structure, which Frank hasn't realized yet. But I feel if we had a commanding goalkeeper in the box to start off with, someone who's going to be, because think about it, as a goalkeeper, you can see everything. You have the vision of the whole field. You should be setting your defensive line. You should be communicating when the corners are coming in, when the free kicks are coming in. Kepa simply doesn't do that. And the defenders, when you think about it, honestly, guys, these were the same defenders from last season. Rudiger, Christensen. Last season, our defense wasn't that bad with the same people. These players actually play for international teams. I'm not saying these defenders are great. We need upgrade there. But, you look at some of the stats in terms of the shots. They haven't really actually received that many shots. The amount of shots that we've received, we've ended up letting it in. So blame is definitely there for the defenders, but I don't think it's there as much as Kepa.
Fair point. I agree
I
this
just
point
I
with
got into some. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying that I agree with Miss because goalkeeper is supposed to take care of the defenders. He's supposed to direct them when the long shots are coming in, when the corners are coming in. And I believe Czech used to do it fabulously. He used to communicate with his defenders, John Terry, Gary Cahill. I mean, there's no comparison. But the way he used to handle those situations, this is something which Kepa has to learn. Communicate with his defenders when the balls are coming across. He's the one who's supposed to lead them at that particular point in time.
Right, but I think we're also
I just
forgetting that Kepa is still very young.
Yeah.
He's not experienced,
Yeah.
and he needs proper guidance. And I gotta go back to our defenders as well, because if Kepa's weakness is stopping long shots, right, then we should be setting up our game that way as well, so we don't take too many long shots.
Yeah, don't play to his weakness.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like there's some lack
We're giving
of
space.
Right.
I mean, we are giving space in the midfield, right? That's why they're taking the shot.
Yeah.
there are two Kepas getting like in the money tackle or something. There are few we have considered few just free kick just near the boxes, and also in the middle of the pitch or the side of the pitch, we don't close down player well. Our midfielder don't chase the players well. In sometimes, Jorginho sometimes sometimes Kovacic don't do that. So yeah, because like I guess Jaha shot in the Crystal Palace game. There are acres of space in the midfield when he shot that ball, and so yeah, our closing and pressing there is a problem, and yeah, and also in a few other goals like one of the keeper's main problem is his movement is very slow. But another thing regarding that, we can say that sometimes we are conceding goals that are untouchable from his end also. The shots are unreachable, or the long shots are very good, great also. It's like he is unlucky also in few aspects. Also.
I just want to add something. I just want to add something to it. Sorry, Nafis, to cut in here. I just want to add that you look at Jan Oblak from Atletico Madrid, and I know he's a top-notch goalkeeper. He's one of the best in the world, probably the best in the world. You look at their game against Liverpool. Liverpool had so many shots on them, so many clear chances, one-on-one chances. They had so many, and Oblak saved it all. He saved whatever was dished up on him. And I think it's not just about the long shots. Long shots is an issue, and that's something that our defensive structure should work towards as well. But it's not just about long shots. It's about all the other, the fifth goal of Liverpool against us last week.
Right.
Kepa really should have saved that. Yes, Jorginho did a technical foul. Yes, but Kepa, the shot was right at him. The shot was right at him, but he simply wasn't quick enough. His wrist is not strong enough. So it's not all about the long shots. I think as a goalkeeper, out of 5 goals, you should try and at least save one. You're a shot stopper. You have to save one. And we're talking about Chelsea goalkeeper. We are talking about going back to the elites in European level. We've had Peter Cech, we've had Thibaut Courtois. Now we have Kepa. Come on, we need to have that level of standard if we want.
I think there's a size and difference in size too, though.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he's not that much tall, right?
He's like 5 inches shorter than Courtois.
Yes. Courtois is huge. I mean, Courtois, even Peter Cech was huge. I mean, still, people are questioning about his height. I just want to make a very important point. I mean, since the project restart, happening, the season get back again, do you think Rudiger form has been really, really poor? I mean, I can see him. He's really struggled. I mean, like match versus Sheffield, match versus Liverpool, and then again the match we lost on the road. I mean, he was really struggling, Rudiger. And because he was some kind of leader to our defense, I mean that also, included in our pain that we are struggling defensively big time. I mean, what's your take, Thomas? Do you think Rudiger really struggling? I mean, since they're starting.
I mean, I guess I feel like he has been. It's been kind of evident of most of our season, consistently inconsistent. And you either get some good play, some good moments of leadership from him, or you get a liability at times. And I think as much of a vocal person as he is, he's not your John Terry, get everybody organized in a central, cohesive strategy and plan. He is a get fired up, and I do like his ability. People are afraid to try to dribble past him because he will physically punish you if you try to embarrass him. And, that does put something into the attacker's minds, but that doesn't translate to better defensive cohesion and coordination. And I think that's where we're struggling. And he's not having the same wavelength thought process if he's on with Zuma or any of the other really center back pairings we've tried.
Right.
At least it's Project Restart, of course.
Right.
But a lot of potential still.
There was a comment earlier. It said that our defenders need to be more vocal. And I think that's been an issue. I don't understand. And Frank touched on it, I think, a couple of weeks ago, that I don't hear my players talk while they're playing. And I don't get that, because if you watch the games, nobody's talking to nobody. Like, they just don't talk to each other. It baffles my mind. Like, how can you play a 90-minute game and not talk to each other? And I think that's been an issue because besides Spilicueta, I don't see anybody saying anything to anyone. And I don't know where the issue is. I don't know why the players wouldn't talk to each other.
It's not like they're playing for the first time, right? They're
it doesn't make sense to me, and especially, Frank as our manager. If you remember, 10, 15 years ago when he was playing with JT and Perchek,
Right.
they were vocal. They were talking. They knew what to do. But these
I would like to hear the natural stadium audio then.
I don't know what's going on. I don't get it. Do you think that could be an issue? You guys think that could be an issue?
I see.
I think. No, I think.
Yeah, Ritesh, go on.
The defenders that we have, they are not leaders. They are basically followers. So probably if we had someone like John Terry or even maybe Gary Cahill who was there to lead them, they would have definitely followed them, perfectly. Unfortunately, right now we don't have any leader. We have a follower. Aspilicueta has been brilliant. I mean, he's almost 95-96% of the games he's played as long as he's in Chelsea career. He's on the right back. He's on the left back. He's in every position. He comes to the back three as well. So he's been fantastic. But the John Terry quality, the leader quality that we're looking for, that is something which is missing at this particular moment. So we have followers. We need someone to lead that defensive line.
Yeah, I think you're right with Dave. I mean, Aspilicueta, he's like a lead by example kind of guy, not your vocal, get everyone pepped up before the match and during the match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
See, during the match, you need someone who can work, who can improvise. Not everything is going to go according to the plan, right? We may plan that this player is going to play these kind of games, but all of a sudden we realize that they are playing some other game. We can't stick to the plan. We have to improvise. That improvisation is something which is missing for us right now. Because these guys are not communicating. There is no leader to tell them, what, we have to switch our play right now, right now. I'm not going to talk about defense, but a couple of years back, we had Fabregas.
Right.
He was so vocal when you had to attack. I mean, Fabregas, Diogo Costa, Eden Hazard. Fabregas even though he was not the captain of the team, he used to lead the charge. He used to tell every player which position he has to go or which position they have to be in. We need someone from that particular quality.
So I'd like to point out another comment here. Like, do you guys think that the answer is Declan Rice to this problem, this leadership thing?
Ooh, the silence.
What do you think?
Yeah.
because
people are confused actually, I guess, because leadership skill, and if you actually what Ritesh has pointed out, in the previous 2-3 years back, maybe we have lots of players like Diogo Costa, who was very vocal in that forward, faces Fabregas, who is very vocal, Gary Cahill, or John Terry itself, they're very vocal. But now, as Arif also pointed out, that they're not talking. It's like missing everything. Yeah, Declan Rice is a very excellent, I guess, leader. But as a new player, it's a tough. I guess for a leadership is a inbuilt thing. But to a new player coming into Chelsea and to command that thing, I guess this will be tough also. And getting will be tough because West Ham is not relegated. They might be their future captain or the current captain. So getting him will be tough also for us because maybe it will take us 1 or 1.5 months to like Harry Maguire or something like John Stones type situation. Whenever John Sterling or whenever a team tries to get an English player, it drags on. It's like it takes 15-20 1 month. So like, do we have that much amount of time to get a player or give that time? Because we have in this season we have other targets to fill and we have lots of numerous targets to fill also. That will be tricky for our management also, that they have to do their wholeheartedly go for Declan Rice, because whenever you go for an English player, they will give you a hard time, the management. regarding the agent fee, regarding the salary, regarding everything. It will be tough.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
The Declan
so
rumors
guys-
were getting pace. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll talk about
So,
it
guys,
later
I-
on
I-
the transfer
so-
segment. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt. I
Adnan
mean,
bhai.
I
No
know
worries,
there
no
are
worries.
some commitment of Arif and Williams. After this show, they will go to the pubs, right? So we will
Yeah.
try to make it a bit shorter and make it very quick. So I just wanted to take your personal note on how Chelsea and Frank Lampard did this season. Apart from whatever the outcome tonight, I mean, till now, before tonight match, what will you take on Frank Lampard's first season at Chelsea? I first
And
go
also,
to
what will be your marking
yeah.
out of 10 for Lampard? Yeah.
Yes, I first go to Williams, and then Arif, then Ritesh, and then Miz.
Prior to today, I'd say 8.5. If we could get
Okay.
a result today at 9, just because I think if any of us at the beginning of the season, coming off a transfer ban,
Yeah.
sitting there looking at the squad we have, going, wow, we could actually qualify for Champions League football next season. I cannot believe it. And we would have been happy. The ups and downs, the inconsistency that kind of fell and plagued us through the middle of the season was to be expected with the youth that we're running. So the ability to get back on track after a point of major inconsistency, and then to come in so hot after Project Restart when everyone was an unknown entity in quantity, and to just be able to pull that off and really still control our own destiny on the last day of the season, I think it's a humongous, hands clap to him. If whatever celebration you want to use, he deserves it, because first season in the Premier League, second season as a manager ever, and he's going to qualify potentially for Champions League football next season. And it's hard to top that. And then a few days later, we have FA Cup final. Cherry on top of the cake. Let's go. Let's get both.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with Thomas on that one too. I think prior to today, I was at 8 out of 10. If I have to rate this season, and Frank is my most favorite player of all time, so I can be very biased, but I think he's done a very, very good. And like Thomas said, this is his second year as a manager. It's not easy, and for him to come to this club, obviously there's a lot of emotional attachment to this club as well. It's not easy, and then transfer ban and all these young players. I think he's done a tremendous job, and if we can get to, if we finish top 4 and pick up a trophy, it's a 10-10, for me.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I go with 8 out of 10 for Lampard for a very simple reason. Like everyone said, it's only his second season as a manager. Now, this guy, he has been a player for a very long time of his career. He managed Derby County, almost managed them to get into Premier League. And the very next opportunity that he received was managing Chelsea, the very club he played for such a long time. So firstly, it's an emotional responsibility. Secondly, it's a huge responsibility it's a huge difference managing Derby and Chelsea. I mean, the number of fan bases that we have, the players, the expectations that you have is completely different. And Frank has overcome that situation, especially with the transfer ban. Now, see, if there was no transfer ban, then maybe the conversation would have been a little different, because then he's getting the kind of players that he's looking for. But making 9 academy players play for the first team and still managing to get a final for FA Cup, that too by beating Manchester United, and if I'm not wrong, we've also beat Liverpool as well in the very same run. Again, qualifying, even the chance of qualifying for the top 4, it's a huge achievement for someone like Frank Lampard. I mean, if we are able to pull this particular, if we are able to come to the top 4, I'm 100% confident that Lampard is going to do something amazing next season, especially with the players that is going to get.
Right. Miz.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with me, honestly, guys, I actually thought we are going to do well this season. I know there was transfer ban, Hazard gone, but I looked at our team and I said, there's a lot of winners here. There's a lot of players that have actually won the Premier League. They've won internationally as well. So I had a good feeling that our team was going to do well. And then I looked at the other teams as well, and I thought that they're not going to be as strong enough. Besides Liverpool and Manchester City, everyone else else is pretty much open. Everyone else is open. So I had a good faith that we're going to do well. So being in this top 4 race is honestly not a surprise for me because that's what I expected. For me, in terms of the mark, I would give him a solid 8. The reason being is 10 out of 10 for me is like you've got to be absolutely perfect. I don't think, in terms of his defensive awareness, Frank has to improve defensively. So that's one thing. His man management has been spot on with a lot of the players, when it comes to Pulisic, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and many other players. But he's got a few things wrong as well. In terms of Kante, overplaying Kante, his injuries, not managing that, and a few other areas where his man management wasn't the perfect. Giroud was the other one. Had Giroud started in the beginning, got a few more game time, maybe this top 4 is already finished, So for me, it's a solid 8. If he gets the FA Cup and wins the cup, I'm happy to give him a 9 out of 10.
Fantastic.
Yeah. My take will be 8.5 also. But we have to think over the whole situation. He came. It's his second season in Bangladesh. The second season as the manager. Transfer ban. He has a transfer ban. And he lost his best player, Eden Hazard. Despite that, despite everything negative, he started the season. He started very good. That's a very good thing regarding that. He has very few ups and downs and few tough things. But regarding that, he last day of the day he's on for a top 4. He's in the FA Cup final. That's a very not many managers newcomer managing Chelsea itself is a big task. But he has done that. I guess regarding that on the season start he overachieved regarding that. He went to we are nearly favorite to be in the top 4. We might win against Arsenal at Wembley. So regarding that 8.5, but as there are a few defensive lapses, there are a few things he has to improve. So that's why I think 8.5 that's the thing, because there are lots of improvement needed in this team. But one interesting part from I have to mention here also the transfer we have received. That we have already got and we are linked with the player. Regarding the maybe Conte season or Sarri season, we will be sometimes linked with the player we don't know. We have to be on the Google or something. We have to be like Bakayapo, not Bakayapo, Japa Costa, Emerson, this type of idea. But if you think that Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Tagliafico, Oblak, any player you have, we are targeting on the top players. We are, and also it's like we are getting the top players. A manager helps, a big manager, a technical director who knows football help. That's a very
this is a very good point.
Yeah. Because it's a player who if you ask Timo Werner, he said one of the main reasons I came is because Lampard's 3 years plan and the Sheikh coming to India. So like having a Sheikh as our technical director and Lampard as our manager, it's a huge plus point for you. It's a huge push for us. So like for that, I think 8.5 and he get the FA Cup. I will get 9. But as a first time manager managing UPL and you are winning one trophy and you are in UCL next season and you are back one of the two brightest prospect of Europe and another brightest of Kai Havertz. If we able to get him. So like 3 very good signings also he have made. That's a very promising
guys. Sorry, Nafis, to cut in. Just some breaking news. Willy Caballero is starting apparently.
Who is starting?
Okay.
Oh wow.
Willy Caballero.
Oh, wow.
Willy Caballero is starting apparently.
Wow. Yes, big call.
It's not official.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's a goal reporter, Nigel Kinsella. He's very reliable, I guess. He said that
Also,
William Miller starts.
Yeah, he's very reliable.
Also, William is not starting. Pulisic is starting, I guess. Mount and Pulisic and Giroud, I guess.
I want to see everybody
I don't
gassed,
mind
trailing
that.
back,
I
and
don't
blocking
mind
crosses. Do not let crosses in the box, please.
I guess the main defenders and players keep relaxed when Kaba is playing, right? Have you guys noticed it too? Like when Kaba is in the post, defenders are always calm and kind of sort of relaxed, right?
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, they are going to 3 in the back, I guess, again. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Zuma, James. Almost same 11. Just Willian and Kepa has to sit out.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Big call. I guess it's a big call.
This is not the official lineup, is it?
No. It's, the lineup will be within 5 minutes.
I was
In
wondering,
three minutes.
my watch is something wrong over.
No.
Yeah, no.
It's 3
The
minutes.
lineup will be lineup
We'll
will
share
be
the
in
screen
4
directly
minutes
from
time.
Twitter.
Yeah.
So before going, I don't know, sure.
I mean, I just want to some more points to our guests. I mean, Frank Lampard wanted to bring Shea Given. I mean, Shea Given was the goalkeeping coach at Derby County with Frank Lampard's team. Then he failed to bring because the management want to keep Henrik Hilario as our goalkeeper coach. I mean, I also can remember a bit. I mean, Courtois also complained about our goalkeeping coach, if I'm not wrong. He wanted to bring his own coach. Then Chelsea put Christoph Lolichon as same for the like Peter Cech. He didn't get his coach. Maybe later he get I'm not sure. Maybe in the next season he gets. But do you think it's the goalkeeper who's not comfortable with the coaching technique of club coaching staff? Maybe he's struggling to some extent. Maybe some confidence need for his private mentor or something like. Do you think this thing have impacts in the squad? I mean, in the mentality of the player. I mean, it's also saying that player is not comfortable with the existing setup. Williams.
I think you got to give the support your players want, right? If we're talking about giving the financial backing and backing mentally and emotionally of the club to Frank, why would we not want to invest that same amount of effort into our players if big if we plan to keep them around? And if at the same time we're having the complaints again and again, keeper after keeper, you might need to listen to that as kind of a signal from the talent that there's something awry. But I think back to Ritesh's point earlier about it being a confidence issue for keepers. I mean, keepers and strikers, limited touches, all the pressure in the world is on you. Everyone loves or hates you. And I think getting those touches is hard, especially when you're out of confidence, out of form, and getting that back is hard. And there's very difficult, especially you'd think he could get back into it right now because of the quick succession of games, but it's not happening. We'll see. I think Miz might be right about Willie starting, and if that's the case, I think we can expect a little bit more of a physical presence in the box. Maybe not quite some loud screamer, but he's coming out and knocking heads for crosses and corners.
Right.
Support the players, give them what they need, though.
Right. I guess. Arif, what
Absolutely.
do you take on this?
No, I mean I agree with Thomas too. If you're going to spend so much money on a player, you should be listening to him. And I personally, for me, I don't understand how Henrik Hilario is our goalkeeper coach. He was our third keeper when Kudicini and Cech played, right?
He's cheap and loyal.
Very good keeper anyway. So I don't understand how he is our keeper coach, but maybe his personality or who knows, I don't know. But Thibaut had the same issue, I believe, right? Thibaut had the same issue because Christopher Lollichop was Peter Cech's coach, and I think did Thibaut bring his own coach? I can't remember right now. Thibaut did it, right?
No, Thibaut got his own coach in the next season after he get the complaint. Here is the team sheet. You can see it's the same.
Oh, Caballero. Okay. Yes, really was.
It's Caballero.
I like this.
I mean, it's the same.
We love this.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I like it.
It's a very good lineup.
Yeah,
It's a very good lineup.
But Miz
Kante is not still not
said that. Miz said that Wolves will be licking their fingers when they see Jorginho starting. He starts, man.
Look, you know what? Kante is not fit, and man,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's pray to God. Let's pray to God.
I think even with Jorginho, starting, the fact that we are not using two centre backs but three centre backs, that may work a little advantage for us. I mean, it's not worked against Liverpool, but then Liverpool and Wolves are two different teams, and the history that we have with Wolves, it's quite different that we have with Liverpool. So
Right.
all in all, I'm happy with the lineup, and I'm pretty happy to see Pulisic starting. He deserved a start, especially after the last performance he had with Liverpool.
On the other hand, for Wolves,
Guys,
all
guys,
Neves,
guys.
Neto, Jimenez,
I have
starting.
some. Or I like to interrupt here because
Yeah.
there's a more news that Adama Traore is not starting. He's on the
yeah.
bench,
Whoa.
and they have Pablo Neto in the right side, and Diego Zota and Raul Miral. Raul, they are in the starting. That's the front three for Wolves, and Doherty in the right wing back. They are almost same. I mean that we come the same formation 3-4-3. Both teams are playing in 3-4-3. Miss.
Man,
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Look, it's what Ritesh said. I think we are going to see at least Wolves don't play like Liverpool. You know, they don't like to hold the ball so much. They want to sit back and they want to counter. So this might be good for us because Jorginho and Kovacic hopefully don't need to get exposed too much in midfield the way the Liverpool team has done us. So hopefully it will be similar to how we played against Man United and we were all in control. Hopefully it goes into plan. We win and we get the Champions League, and hopefully after that Kai Havertz announcement, guys. Hopefully.
Right. And also, I like to discuss it on here since it's a live. Also, Leicester versus Manchester United match. I mean, Manchester United has gone the same 11. I mean, their main 11: Bruno, Pogba, Matic, everybody's playing. And more interestingly, Leicester City. I mean, Leicester City is playing Hamza, Wilfred Ndidi, Mark Albrighton. I mean, they are forcing for a draw. I mean, like a very attacking squad. Kelechi, Iheanacho, and Jamie Vardy both are playing together. So they are going all gun blazing.
Yeah,
I mean, they're going for the win.
They're going for the win.
Yeah, they are going for the win, right?
They're going for the win.
It will be.
I don't think it's an option for them not to go for a win, right?
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
It's super exciting. And I don't think it's an option for any one of us to go and think about even draw. The very first thought every
Draw,
team
right.
would have is we have to win this match. Regardless of what happens in the
Right.
next match, regardless of what happens with, say, for Chelsea, doesn't matter what happens with Man U and Leicester as long as we win. And for Leicester and Man U, it's again the same thing. I mean, even for them to have a chance, they have to win. It's very exciting to see, these kind of endings in Premier League. You don't find it very often.
Definitely.
but it
There's
also
no-
makes me very nervous.
Relegation.
There's
Yeah,
no-
that's what I was going to say. That's what I'm
I'm super
interested in
nervous.
today too.
Yeah.
The title wasn't
Very nervous,
as
everybody.
interesting as this one, right? The title chase was
Guys,
not
there's
as
another
interesting.
thing. Another thing we missed out, that Willian is not even on the bench.
Oh wow.
I mean, Willian
I
is not
think he
even on the
might be
bench.
injured. And look, he
Yeah.
could be injured, and it could be his last game. I think he's already played his last game.
I don't
I
think
see.
we have Arsenal
He's-
left,
they
right?
don't-
I believe
they don't have him
playing
reported
against
as injured.
Arsenal.
Right?
Maybe
Maybe
he's
versus Arsenal. I mean, he must have been injured. Otherwise, he should be in the squad because I can
You'd
see
think,
Pedro,
right?
Abraham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's injured.
No, it's not. It's not. He's not in the
So-
squad. He's injured, for sure injured.
Has to be injured. Has to be injured.
Has to be
Yeah.
injured. You're right. I mean, Kepa is in
So
the bench.
quick-
That's fine, but Willian is not even in the squad.
Adun bhai, I would quickly want to know everyone's prediction for tonight's game.
Ooh.
Yeah. First we go with Williams.
Oh God, the pressure. Am I playing today?
Put 3 and you're all good.
Let's go 3-1.
Yeah.
Sketchy
To
2-1
Chelsea,
for a
right?
little bit, and ice it with a third goal, like 70th, 80th minute, and everybody lose their mind.
Nice.
Okay.
And also, Leicester and Manchester United loses one of them loses their mind also. Yeah.
Arif, what will be your prediction, Arif?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, I'm super nervous about this game. But whenever this season we had to win, we somehow managed to mess it up. But having said that, I think it's going to be a very exciting game.
Somehow
It's going
messed
to
it
be a
up.
very exciting game, and I'm very confident that we're going to win. And my prediction will be 3-2.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Okay, Ritesh.
Ritesh, bro.
I think I'm gonna go with RF. It's gonna be 3-2. I mean, three is it's kind of a lucky number ever since we got the new sponsor.
Yeah.
And
Same.
yeah, so and two because defensively we're not that great, and Wolves have a pretty good strong front line. So 3-2 or 3-1 maybe, but 3-2 something like that. As long as we win, I don't give a
I mean, everybody has accepted that we're going to concede, so that's fine because of the defense.
Was it ever a question?
So, Miz, what will be your?
I think Miz will come with a clean sheet prediction, right?
We can be optimistic, but there is no point. We are all realistic over here. We know we are going to concede.
Very right.
Yeah.
I'm willing to back Caballero to get a clean sheet, but I don't think we can even buy a clean sheet anymore. But I'm going with 3-1.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, actually, Caballero have a number of clean sheet, most clean sheet. I mean, the match he has started, he had most clean sheet. I mean, that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
But we will also have to realize that.
I'll take a draw.
Okay.
It's not
My guess, I guess it will be very end-to-end game. I am, but regarding Wolves, I am very much confident. That I must say, because we always there are some few teams we always play good. So like Wolves against Wolves, if we don't play silly or something like that, we will play good. It will be a good match for our half. And the score lines, I think the score line will be 3-1, but it will be commanding 3-1.
Okay, we just round up about our next segment. We talked about most likely on transfers that is most likely to happen or going to happen. So I just take a small notes from each and every one of you here. I mean, Timo Werner is done, and Kai Havertz is close to be done. And what next? I mean, do you see we splash big amount of money behind Declan Rice? I first go to the Williams. Do you think Declan Rice we should go?
I mean, let's see. So far, they said it'll take a purchase price around the size of the Bank of England. I think at that rate, I'll pass. But I don't know. Like I said earlier, I think if there's a team in all of Europe that is prepared to splash the cash right now, it's us. We have set up a club and a structure financially that is self-sufficient through the sales of youth players. We're going to bring in a bunch of money getting rid of some of these guys anyways. Plus, that Morata money is already paid for some of the Werner transfers. So I think we're going to see some splash cash, but I don't know if we'll see that marquee signing that people expect. Declan Rice been Chilwell, but I think we'll see that same quantity of money, 60, 70, 80 million pounds spent on some defenders here in the very, very near future.
Right.
The Jimenez guy, he seems like he could be pretty up and coming and very talented, so we'll see. Obviously well established already too.
I see. And do you think Havertz will be a fantastic addition in the midfield? I mean, where do you see him play? Midfield or forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Werner, and pretty much Ziyech as well, like that we're bringing in. I mean, Frank wants to be malleable and change tactics depending on who we're playing. You can play these guys multiple positions in the midfield. You can play, like you just said, Havertz can play. He's 6'1", 6'2" almost. He can play striker. He's done it right then for the beginning of Project Restart. The guy can play anywhere so far. It seems like in some of the highest levels, all these guys just gives us continued rotation, flexibility, and I think that's clearly what Frank wants, and I think it's a smart bet to put all of his eggs in that route.
Right. And Arif, do you think really Declan Rice is a solution? I mean, Declan Rice is a solution for Chelsea in the defense?
the history shows about young English players lately. If you go back last 8-10 years, and personally, I'm not a big fan of um, young English talented players.
Right.
Especially defenders. It makes me very nervous. To go out and spend all that money on a young English defender, it makes me very nervous. We can talk about John Stones. You can talk about Maguire. It just makes me very nervous. But I think, like Thomas said, we are in a very good position, and we can go out and spend a lot of money. And I think because of that reason, I think Frank's going to go for either Chilwell or Rice. And I think it's going to.
I see. Ritesh, do you think it's happening for Chelsea? I mean, 80 million is what West Ham is asking as per the news. I mean, it's a big amount of money if we spend. I mean, yes, we have the money maybe, but it's 80 million for a centre back, and especially he's English and very young. And so, do you think really this is going to happen?
Not really sure whether to answer yes or no, because Declan Rice is definitely a good player. There's no doubt about it. But charging him that amount of ridiculous money, I mean, I really love the example Thomas gave. Okay, the size of Bank of England. It's pretty absurd if you ask me. For a homegrown player, if you're asking for 180-70 million pounds, we have to realize one thing: he's not the only solution. He is one of the possible solutions. Right? We can possibly get maybe 2 or 3 defenders who may not be as good as Declan Rice, or maybe someone who is on the verge of improving. So he's one of the possible solutions. If you ask my personal opinion, we should go for Declan Rice, but that price tag is way too much.
Yeah, and I just want to add, the reason I said the English, young English players and going out and spending so much money, the reason it makes me nervous is because we know how the English media is. When you buy a English player for 50, 60, 70, 80 million pounds, they may have 2 good games, and if they have one bad game, the media just wants it, right? And that puts a lot of pressure on a player, especially if you're young. You don't have enough experience, and you don't know how to deal with media. In today's world with social media and all that stuff too, it's a lot of pressure on somebody. And if you're 21, 22 years old, and you got a huge price tag of 80 million, that alone puts a lot of pressure on. And that's what makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Look how we're treating Kev. I think about a 80 billion pound defender.
Yeah. And Miss, I just want to come back. If Chelsea something offer like Ross Barkley or Michy Batshuayi in a swap deal with Declan Rice, do you think it's a good deal? I mean, cash plus Michy Batshuayi or cash plus Ross Barkley. Do you think this kind of deal should Chelsea go with? I mean, it is still feasible for us.
Yeah, look, first of all, I just want to say Declan Rice is probably not my first choice, but I want to say a few things. He's a very good player, and there's a lot of upsides to Declan Rice, and I'll tell you what. Before we get to the price situation, he's West Ham captain at the age of 21, so he's got leadership quality. That's something that we lack in our defensive line. He's a very good communicator. This is something that all of you guys have said, that we don't communicate enough. He's a very, very good communicator. You watch some of his matches for West Ham, which I have watched in recent times. He's always screaming, always shouting, always revving the team up. So we can already see that he's turning out to be a leader, and he will be a leader for England very, very soon. The other thing is versatility. Frank likes players that can play many different positions. Declan Rice, his predominant role at the moment for West Ham is, CDM or DM position, defensive midfielder, but he can play the centre-back position as well. And not to forget, he was a Chelsea youth player, youth academy player as well. So there's some connections there with Chelsea. So all in all, there's a lot of upside. He's 21, so he's got immense growth to come. Now, in terms of the price, I think the price is a bit too hefty. When you think about that much of money, you're thinking about world-class players in that level, and I don't think Declan Rice is world-class as yet. But he's English, so that's why you've got the English tax on that. Now, coming back to what you said, in terms of player swaps, wow, I'd do it for sure. Because if it's Batshuayi, if it's Ross Barkley, anything to reduce the price down a little bit, because at the end of the day, players like Batshuayi and Ross Barkley, let's be honest, they're not going to be featuring for us much next season. So if we can use them to get Declan Rice, wow, that's phenomenal business. I think someone like Marina could do that.
Nafis, you wanted to say something. I mean, sorry, I broke you up that time.
It's okay. Regarding Declan Rice, I think he should not be our first target. We should try other defenders or something like that. Because I don't like him as a first target also.
I think Declan Rice most likely to be linked with, because he has a ex-Chelsea history. I mean, he's academy boy, and he got the physique. I mean, let's come up with this thing. I mean, he got the physique. He is tall and he's a very strong boy. And that was maybe Nathan Ake is not having. I mean, Nathan Ake is a fantastic defender, but what Lampard is emphasis on is the height of the defender, because we are not much of a physical in the backside. I mean, our defenders are not much physical. But when I see the West Ham match versus Manchester United, I mean, Declan Rice was fantastic. I mean, he was guiding. I mean, he was shouting, he was guiding, he was asking people to go places. He was so fantastic. Good. He was so good, yes. So, I mean, yes, it's a good option for Chelsea if we do not get... Actually, I can see we linked with a proper defender till yet. I mean, yes, we see odd names like John Stones. That's coming up with the last 2 or 3 days. John Stones is linked to Chelsea.
Gabriel Magalhaes.
Gabriel Magalhaes, yes. I mean, not so much, I mean, like top defender. I mean, like we are not going for a finished product or experienced man, but we are rather emphasis on like a rising star or something like that. So my take on the next thing is about the goalkeeper, which we discussed a lot. I just put up the simple yes and no question. Do you really see Kepa next season at Chelsea? First, I go to the Williams.
Had to be my last contribution. About to get ready to head out and load the game. But after this lineup today, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the 2-year loan deal with an option to buy might be what's coming in his future very shortly. And I think that's the only way we're offloading him. Because we're not taking a loss on that amount of money. So yeah, I see him gone, but still on the Chelsea books partially.
Okay, great. Arif, you take.
Same here. I think after today, Frank is making a statement with this move, so I think he's going to be gone.
Okay, guys, you can left us. I mean, we really like to have you to give a big thanks. You make it up for so early in the USA. I know you have a game to catch on, or you have to go to the pub, so you are most welcome to leave. No problem. And
thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Nice talking.
Have a good time.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night,
guys. Right. Come on, Chelsea.
Yeah, come on, Chelsea.
Okay, come on. Have a nice game week.
Good luck, Arif. So we just viewers who just had to leave Williams and Arif because they are going to the pub and catch the game. It's early morning in the USA time, and it's evening in
right. Like this show. Not much time left.
Yeah.
So you are continuing with the Kepa thing.
Yes, I go to the Ritesh. Do you see Kepa? I think after such bold statement by Frank Lampard, dropping him such a crucial match tonight, do you see him really have any future in Chelsea?
If you would have asked me this question before the lineup, I would have said yes, Kepa would have been there. But after the lineup, I don't think so.
I see. Miz?
Honestly, guys, I think we've seen the last of Kepa. I don't think today's match is a huge match, he's been dropped. So for him, that's such a. I'm pretty sure Kepa's already looking for another place to go to. So I think this will be the end of him. Whether we sell or loan, that's a different story. But I don't think we will see him play Chelsea again.
Yeah, I just at some point, because today I saw in the Twitter and some of the news link that two things come to my mind and both made me confused. One is the Peter Cech saying that Kepa is a very good goalkeeper. Yes, he lacked a lot of confidence. He needed that confidence back because he's a top goalkeeper. That's what Peter Cech said. And another report from the Daily Sun said that Kepa is willing to take a big pay cut to join some other clubs back in Spain to continue his career because he can't see him surviving at Chelsea. So both, I mean, the second one, the news is from the Sun. I know it's not much reliable for the sources.
Yeah,
but,
Sun.
Yeah.
Sun is just a drama show.
Drama show, yeah. So still, I mean, when Peter Cech saying he's a good goalkeeper, I mean, he has something seen in him. But after such statement by Frank Lampard dropping him this from tonight match, I mean, it's a big statement for Kepa's future.
Huge. I mean, today's game, not playing, honestly, Kepa himself should look at himself and go, I don't want to be here. I need to find another club and work on my confidence. If he still stays, that's bad on Kepa.
Right, great. Ritesh, I just like to, we are very at the end of this program. I mean, I really like to thank you guys, you and Mies. I mean, it's fantastic. Thanks for joining us. I know it's very late in Australia, and yes, it's Indian Bangladesh almost a close time, but it's still, so weekend you made it. Thank you so much, and we appreciate the help from the Chelsea India. And Mies, I like to big thank to you, Matt, and thank you for joining us. And give a hello in Bangla, maybe to your Bangladeshi brothers.
সবাই বাংলাদেশে যারা এই শোটা দেখতেছেন at the moment, thank you so much. আরো সাপোর্ট করেন এই গ্রুপটাকে, and please support my YouTube channel as well আপনারা যদি চান্স পান, and please back all my brothers. এখানে আমার যে ব্রাদার্সরা আছে, শাফাত, আদনান, নাফিস, and also Ritesh, সবাইকে সাপোর্ট করেন, and hopefully we will have plenty more shows.
Yes, thank you much.
Ritesh, any word for this biggest community in Bangladesh, Chelsea community? Yeah.
See, I cannot communicate in Bangla like Mel.
No worries.
I guess Hindi is something which you guys maybe possibly understand.
Yeah.
So, बहुत अच्छा लगा यहाँ पे आके बात करके, and I hope आगे भी ऐसे ही होता रहे. Hopefully we win tonight, and we just. It's kind of super exciting. I have no words at this particular moment. But I would like to thank everyone who's included in the game. To be honest, I'm a little jealous of Williams and Nari because we have no pubs open in India right now. I would have loved to, go and watch the game there. Possibly when we win, I'd be like, yo, we are won, let's party. And I have to sit home and follow me.
Right.
Having said that, it was fantastic to have this session with you guys. I 1.5 hours. Where did it went? I have no idea. It was good talk.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I have to add some closing notes to our all viewers in Bangladesh who are watching in our group and all over the world. I mean, a lot of fans from the Chelsea India, I see they are commenting. Thank you so much for watching. I mean, we like to bring the Chelsea in subcontinent more and more because it's a big populations here. India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal. I mean, 150 crore people lives in this part of the world. And it's a big market for Chelsea. And that's what we are presenting to Chelsea, that please focus in this market because you have a lot of fans. Chelsea have a lot of fans in Indian subcontinent. So we really appreciate Chelsea's help on this regard. And also we are talking as a supporter club to Chelsea and others, and I especially thank to Chelsea India. They have done a lot of things in India, and especially also definitely for the game in the subcontinent for the Chelsea. And thank you so much, Ritesh, for coming and join us. And I'd like to thank Chelsea India, and thank especially Mies brother. I give you a very short notice and you joined. Thank you so much. And we really hope we win tonight.
Having said that, I wish everyone to stay indoors, stay safe, as long as this pandemic thing goes. Be vigilant about it, because it's been a long time. People just getting crazy every day. Don't get crazy. Calm your mind. Everything will be fine. Just stay indoors and be safe, everyone.
Right. I see there's a fan from Trinidad and Tobago. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you watched us. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Nafis and Arup. Now you can go on.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mies. Amazing contents on your channels. And also thank you, Ritesh Rao. Amazing content from Chelsea India page as well. And ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে এতক্ষণ যারা আমাদের সাথে যুক্ত ছিলেন আজকের শোতে। ইনশাআল্লাহ আজকের ম্যাচে জিতে নেক্সট উইকে আবার আপনাদের সামনে আমরা হাজির হবো এবং এফএ কাপ ফাইনালটাও ইনশাআল্লাহ আমরা জিতে নেবো ইনশাআল্লাহ। সে পর্যন্ত ভালো থাকুন, সুস্থ থাকুন, বাংলাদেশের বিগেস্ট চেলসি কমিউনিটি সিএফসি বিএসসির সাথে সবাইকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Thank you so much, Ritesh and Miss.